Have you ever heard whispers that sent shivers down your spine, that made your heart race faster than a cheetah? In the quiet, quaint town of Ashwood, there lived a man who found himself tangled in a web of eerie whispers. After moving into an antiquated house, he began to notice a peculiar sound, a sound that was neither from the wind nor from the rustling leaves. It was a whisper, as soft as a sigh, as faint as a dream, yet as real as the fear it instilled. Each night, as darkness fell and the world around him quieted, the whispers grew louder. They seemed to seep from the walls, as if the very bricks and mortar were alive, breathing out a tale of terror. The whispers were not just sounds, they were voices. Voices that murmured and moaned, voices that hissed of horror and despair. The man's curiosity turned into fear, and fear into dread, as the whispers became more ominous, more persistent. He could not escape them, not in his waking hours, nor in his sleep. They were always there, like an unseen specter, haunting him, taunting him. In the heart of his fear, he decided to delve into the history of the house. What he discovered was a chilling tale, a tale that was as old as the house itself. The house had been home to a myriad of souls, some who had left the world under mysterious circumstances. The whispers, he believed, were echoes of those departed souls, bound to the house, recounting their stories of dread and despair. Each whisper was a piece of the house's dark history, a history that was now his to bear. The whispers spoke of secrets hidden in the walls, of tragedies that had unfolded within the rooms, of the many lives that had been lived and lost within the house's ancient confines. The whispers never ceased, echoing the chilling tale of the house's past. And so, the man was left to live with the dreadful whispers, a constant reminder of the house's long and haunting past. Do you believe that shadows can have a mind of their own, that they can harbor a darkness beyond our understanding? In the quiet town of Ashwood, a woman named Clara moved into a charming old house, eager to start a new chapter in her life. But the house, it seemed, had other plans. Clara started noticing something strange about the shadows in her home. They moved not like the soft, predictable dance of light and darkness, but in a manner that seemed calculated, deliberate. Every corner, every nook of her home began to hold a sense of dread, as if the shadows themselves were alive. Clara felt watched, her every move mirrored by these sinister silhouettes. As days turned into weeks, the shadows grew bolder. They started to take on more distinct human-like forms, no longer content with being vague and formless. One cold winter night, Clara woke up to see a shadow standing by her bed. It was tall, looming over her, and it felt as if it was staring right at her. The figure seemed to be reaching out, trying to communicate something. Clara, frozen with fear, could only watch as the shadowy figure moved around her room, seemingly interacting with her, with the space around her. It was only after a visit from a local historian that Clara learned the tragic history of her home. Decades ago, a family had lived there and their lives had been marked by sorrow and loss. The shadows, it seemed, were echoes of that tragic past, trapped within the walls of the house. These shadows were not just mere patches of darkness. They were remnants of a time long gone, imprints of lives lived and lost. They carried the sorrow, the pain of those who once called the house their home. The shadows lingered, a grim reminder of the home's sorrow-filled history. Because sometimes the past refuses to stay buried, and shadows become the bearers of stories that time has forgotten. Can a pair of eyes instill such fear that it freezes you in your tracks, that it haunts your every waking moment? This is a question that one teenager had to face in a chilling encounter that would change his life forever. Our story takes us to the edge of a small town, nestled against an endless expanse of woods. A place where children played during the day, but which became a realm of shadows and whispers when the sun set. It was here that our young protagonist first encountered the eyes. Glowing, malevolent eyes that seemed to pierce the thickening darkness, eyes that held a chilling promise of danger. The teenager, let's call him Sam, was walking home one night when he felt a prickling sensation, like he was being watched. He turned around and there they were, two glowing orbs staring back at him from the depths of the woods. Fear gripped him, but he managed to break free from the paralysis and ran home. He hoped it was a figment of his imagination, a trick played by the shadows. But the eyes followed him, appearing in the most unexpected places. They peeked from the dark corners of his room at night, stared at him from the reflection in the mirror, and watched him from the shadows in the school corridors. Wherever he went, the eyes followed. As days turned into weeks, Sam's fear turned into dread. He couldn't sleep, he couldn't eat, he couldn't focus. The eyes were always there, watching, waiting. And then, the climax of the horror unfolded. One fateful night, the eyes revealed their terrifying owner, a creature of nightmare, a monstrous entity that defied description. The sight of it was enough to send Sam spiraling into a world of terror. The eyes, a horrifying sight, forever etched in the teenager's memory. The eyes that followed him, haunted him, and ultimately revealed a terror beyond his wildest nightmares. A chilling reminder that sometimes the most terrifying things are those that we can't fully see or understand. What if you woke up one night to find a specter standing at the foot of your bed, an apparition that looked eerily familiar? Imagine the chilling sensation of fear that would grip your heart, the icy tendrils of terror coiling around your chest. You would be paralyzed, trapped in the horrifying reality of your darkest nightmares. This is the story of a woman who didn't have to imagine, because for her, it was all too real. Her name was Margaret. After her husband's untimely demise, Margaret was left alone in their sprawling Victorian mansion. She was a woman of strong character, not easily unnerved, and she determined to face her loss with quiet dignity. But what she wasn't prepared for was the nightly visits from her late husband's specter. The apparition was a spitting image of her beloved, a haunting reminder of the love they had shared. With each passing night, the specter grew more distressing, stirring up feelings of fear, longing, and remorse. Margaret began to dread the fall of darkness, the arrival of her nocturnal visitor. But the story takes an even more shocking turn. It was discovered that Margaret had a dark secret. Years before her husband's death, she had been unfaithful to him. Overwhelmed by guilt, she confessed her sin to her husband on his deathbed, hoping for forgiveness that never came. As the specter's visits grew more frequent, Margaret realized that it was not a mere figment of her imagination. It was a manifestation of her guilt, a chilling reminder of her betrayal. It was her husband's ghost, returning each night to confront her with the painful truth of her past. In the end, Margaret was left with more than just the memory of her husband. She was left with a haunting apparition, a nightly reminder of her guilt and regret. The specter became a part of her life, a horrifying echo of a love lost to time. The apparition reappeared each night, a harrowing echo of a love lost to time. Thank you for joining us on this terrifying journey through the darkest corners of the human psyche. As we witnessed Margaret's struggle with guilt and fear, we were reminded of the profound power our past actions can have on our present and our future. The specter of her past not only haunted her nights but infiltrated her days, casting a pall over her existence. But remember, dear viewer, each of us carries our own specters. Our past mistakes, our regrets, they are the ghosts that haunt us. We must confront these ghosts, learn from them, and grow. Only then can we hope to find peace. If you've enjoyed this eerie tale of love and guilt, subscribe to our channel for more spine-chilling stories. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends who revel in the macabre and the mysterious. And remember, the specters of our past only have as much power as we give them. Till our next horrifying journey, stay safe, keep the lights on, and confront your ghosts. Good night.